back to the Meet Podcast with your host, Daniel Bryant. Today we have a special episode today with our special guest being Trevor Elliott. Trevor is the SGA freshman class president at Shaw University, along with being the owner and creator of Public Square. So without further ado, let me add him to the call. Hey Trevor, how are you doing?
What's going on, man? What's going on? I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. I'm really thankful that you were able to accept the invitation to be on the Me Podcast. I know you bring a lot of great qualities to this podcast, so I'm glad to interview you today.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm glad to be here.
Good. Now I'm going to go ahead and go into the first few questions, and that's going to start off with me being an HBCU student at North Carolina A&T State University. I understand and I know the qualities of education and all the opportunities that my school provides me, even outside of the academic realm. So I want you to go in depth about why you chose Shaw University and the major that you chose.
Facts. You're right about that. The school is also more than just, you get more than just education there. You just make connections and things of that sort. But I chose Shaw simply because it was close to home. And also when I was younger, my uncle Sherlock used to work there. He worked in a financial aid office. And so like growing up, I would go with him to work and I'll sit in the office, just kind of get a feel of it. And honestly, to be real, starting off, I wasn't really planning on going to college. I was, going to just jump right out there into, the real world, as we might say. But thankfully for those times when I was younger, it kind of groomed me to like, hey, I got to go to college. I feel like it's something I want to do, and I chose Shaw. And yeah, as far as my major, business administration, I come from ownership. So anything involving business is just second nature to me.
Definitely. I'm glad that you pointed that out. I think it's important that you also said that you come from ownership, right? It's important and it's a solution to a problem, right? Or create a service that aids the needs of the community. So I'm glad that you created that in your own business, but then also you acknowledge your past, your family, on how they kind of they angled you in a way where you could choose that. So I'm glad that you did that. And that moves me into my next question. When we talked about the HBCUs and the quality of education, but then also the opportunity to connect, I want you to talk about how has your personal HBCU allowed you to be able to connect with people and create networking opportunities?
Okay, man, that's a good one. That's a good question. Well, basically, in general, I would say attending any school, if I feel like it's important to move around, get to know what's going on around you, just being able to network and just meet different people, socialize with different people, because you never know who can help you, and who you could help also. And just being able to see all the greatness that comes from HBCUs that inspired me to reach out to those before me, the ones that graduated, the alumni, stuff of that sort. And just soak up game, man. Just, learning from them, just hearing the stories that they have to offer. Like, hey, I remember whenever we were in school, things we used to do, this, that, and the third. And it's amazing to see how far that they've came. Just to soak up the knowledge and just, take it all in. Not only from just Shaw, I would say, but just from other schools. Also, just people I know and my family that went to college.
Yes. I'm definitely glad that you pointed that out. Especially with connecting not just with Shaw University, but then with other universities, right? Any HBCU go remote, yeah, right. You can really network with all different schools, and it doesn't have to just be HBCUs, but college gives you that ability and that access to so many different people from different backgrounds, and they're all at your access, right? You're all around the same age, and the way that social media is growing in our country, it's right at your fingertips where you can connect. I'm in Greensboro, you're in Raleigh, I can connect with you in seconds, or I can connect someone that's in Chapel Hill that goes to UNC in seconds.
Exactly.
So I'm really thankful for just the way that, all colleges, not just HBCUs, but in all colleges, students can be connected and we can network and we can build on each other.
Exactly. That's why I think you ever heard of LinkedIn?
Yep.
Yeah, man, LinkedIn is like a great tool, a great source. My career development center director. I forgot his name, but it's Shaw. He had put me onto it, and ever since then I've been using it, man. Just connecting with different people to go to Howard, people to go to Hampton, people to go to UNC, NC State, different ones, stuff like that. Just by simply posting my profile and connect with people that also have the same major as me and the same interest in me. So yeah.
That's definitely great. Like I said, utilizing all the tools that are at our hand, right?
Exactly.
LinkedIn and creating our handshake profile, all these different things that you can use to be able to kind of promote yourself, promote your brand, as I could say, to be able to be marketable in the workforce, in the work market. So I'm glad that you pointed that out, and that moves me on. I'm glad we're talking about kind of that entrepreneurial mindset. And that moves me into, I understand that you are an entrepreneur and creating your own organization as well as I am. So I want you to kind of go in depth a little bit about why did you think that was important? And then what are some of the things that you've worked on with your own business?
Good one. Me personally, I just love helping people out. That's the whole reason I started Public Square. And it's all, I feel like, in the community, like specifically the Black community, it's all about growth. For so long we hear our people that are before us and to continue to talk about growth and how we need to push the culture forward and to elevate. Just to be able to do that, it takes people like me, people like you, people that are actually go-getters, that's gonna go out here and make something happen. You know what I mean? I like to refer back to this quote from one of my favorite rappers, Larry June. You guys probably never heard of him, but he says in this one song, in order to grow, you got to let go. And a lot of times within the Black community, what we're doing as far as stimulating the Black dollar, keeping it within the community, just empowering and building up our people. It takes resources, and it takes people like me and you to get out here and make that happen and do things.
Definitely. I'm glad that you made that point, especially with thinking of, to grow, you have to let go, right? That's a bar right there.
Yeah, for real though.
But that really means that holds a lot of power. Yeah, it holds a lot of power because if we think about it, especially with entrepreneurship and creating your own brand, right? You said that you started your brand Public Square because you wanted to help people, right? That was at the root of the problem that you wanted to solve. You wanted to be of aid and of help to others. And so, like you said, it takes people like you and like me and so many others that we both know that are willing to take that step, right? To take that step of faith that says, hey,
I will water.
Yeah, get in that water, right? Even when that water cold. But to take that step, to be at the forefront of solving that problem, right? Solving that solution. And even if we're not the one that says, hey, this is the solution that you need, at least we're going to be the ones that at least walk with those people to say, hey, if we're not going to be your solution, we're going to walk with you so you can find your solution, right?
Exactly.
So always continue to, working together, networking, and being with them so they don't feel like I got to do this whole thing called life by myself. Because, that's low-key impossible. No, high-key impossible. So I'm thankful for you actually taking that step and being at the forefront of saying, I want to help people and I'm going to maximize each and every opportunity to be able to do so.
Yeah, man. And like you said, to go back to what you were talking about as far as you can't do this thing called life alone. You're absolutely right about that, man. First of all, you have to have God involved, because with all things, with God, you can do all things. There's nothing you can't do. You just got to be your brother's keeper, I'm really big on that, just being able to, hold each other accountable. When I say brother's keeper, I'm not necessarily referring to men, but also sister's keeper also, as I should say, just being able to help, just help each other out, give each other game, build each other up.
I love that, man. Definitely, because I remember that when I played football in high school, my coach used to always say, be your brother's keeper, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta hold each other accountable, right? Because like I said, when we're, trying to progress in our lives, right? Trying to progress within our businesses and stuff like that. And me and you definitely have had conversations off camera and how we can both elevate each other's brand and stuff like that. That's us showing how we can be each other's brother's keeper, right? how can I hold you accountable, Trevor? But then how can I give you game, or how can you give me game? Sharing your resources with me sharing my resources with you, so we can maximize each other's potential, right? Like maximizing what we can do, right? The impact that we can have on so many people. And so I'm glad that you've made that correlation of saying that I'm going to be the person that not only helps someone find their solution, but I'm also going to be the person that holds you accountable. I'm going to be the person that aids you with resources, and be the person that
Vice versa. I may not have everything that that to offer, but sometimes it's other people that can help me. Help me help them, or help each other. And to go back a little bit more, I was in church. I was in Bible study actually on the Zoom. With I think it was your uncle Wesley. He brought up a good point. Being a corner person, that goes to being a corner person for somebody. Just being able to be in their corner to let them know, hey man, keep them motivated, keep them going, whatever it is that they're trying to do, and vice versa. That'd be the same for you.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad
you could try to do that.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad you brought up that point, and I'm glad to see that's what Public Square is all about, right? Being that corner person for those people, and then also maximizing people.
Yes, sir.
And so that leads me into my final question, right? And so I see that you have Public Square, and I want you to even go more in depth of how you created it, what it is, how can people get in contact with you, and what do you provide?
First off, I'm gonna start Public Square. Public Square is a nonprofit organization. I started to empower young males, specifically the minorities. My mission is to empower, educate, motivate, position, originate, weld, equipped, and elevate. Those are all the letter, each letter of empower, broken down. I plan to start with just a small focus group of guys, mentoring them, things of that sort, just seeing where we go from there. And just, exposing them to different environments and to different things that can potentially help them, motivate them to think outside the box and to think in general. I feel like that's a strong problem that we have as not just young men, but teenagers as a whole. We don't always think before we do, or we're not really thinking through situations at all. And I'm just here, to help and spread the little bit of game that I got,
Yeah.
But and that's just me being able to spread that along, just spreading it along, because we each teach, like I said, go back to what we were talking about before, teaching each other, giving each other game, building each other up. And a lot of the things that I plan on doing within Public Square is talking about financial literacy, just basic education skills, like, just being aware of the things that's going on in your community and your environment. For instance, like I want to get into, like, I want to start to get them into the habit of paying attention to the news. Because I know a lot of times as younger people, the news is lame. Like, it's so boring. Like, what are they talking about? We're not really, But at the same time, a lot of the things that are on the news impact your day-to-day life. Not only just the WRAL news, local news, but also the CNN and, the things that goes on across the country. Just things around that nature. And also just being a tool for them, just being somebody that, hey, if there's anything that they need to talk about, come holler at me about it. Just being there for them.
That point that you talked about, watching the news and stuff like that, and it doesn't have to be, like I said, I know the news does have stuff that you watch, and sometimes it is a lot of negative stuff, but then it's also some stuff that you need to pay attention to, right? So like, I remember my dad always, he always has the business news on, that has, like, all the stock prices and all the information of inflation, deflation, and depreciation, blah blah blah, all that stuff, right? And you see all those numbers on the screen and all those arrows and stuff. You might, man, that's boring, man. Where's ESPN at, right? Where the sports channels at?
Exactly. Man, turn on Wild 'N Out.
Yeah, Wild 'N Out. Yeah. So you start to really think, as you get older, like, yo, this has to have a meaning. Let me just look at it just a little bit longer. So then I start finding myself reading articles about, the GDP and stuff like that, and value and assets and all these different things and economic stuff. And I started really seeing it come up in my classes, and I'm like, okay, so I'm guessing this is important. So I found myself immersing myself within the things that not only that I'm studying, but things that I know that impact me, right? So, I see that, inflation has been happening, right? People say, why are these gas prices going up? There's a cause to that, right? Or why are these prices going up at this certain time? Or why is this happening? Why is this happening during the pandemic? But then when you start to really, target and look within deeper than just the surface level view or the surface level thinking that most people have of certain circumstances.
Stop paying attention to the shiny object. Follow the man with the money.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I remember these words that my dad always says. When you thinking about something, make sure you know who is counting the money. That leads you to your answer. Who is counting the money? And so all those different things come up in my head when I think of that. And I'm glad that you shared that. And I'm glad that you're making an emphasis in your business when you talk to those young men about that.
Exactly. And it's not only just that. Those are just things that I want to, get into depth with more specifically. But just as a whole, though, just just opening them up to be able to receive, to be able to receive and understand when somebody's trying to tell them something.
Yeah.
Because I'm like being, young, not want to listen to what somebody was telling us, man, that ain't talking about nothing. Like, I'm just want to be cool. I'm worried about getting fresh. I'm worried about copping the next pair of J's. That's all I'm worried about. I'm seeing what these ladies looking like in class today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to see what's up with them. Like, but I just want to get them to understand that there's more than that, Because a lot of the times within the community, the Black community, that's the only thing we know, and there's nobody really here to really teach them to before I go cop a pair of J's, before I go cop these $200, $300 pair of shoes, why not take that $203 or $200 or $300 and go and put it here?
Yep.
It's gonna make me double that. Then I can go back and buy these shoes, and if I want to, I can go buy them 2 times. I can go get an outfit to match with it.
It's all about that cognitive thinking of, a lot of people have that thinking of where I want it now, the instant gratification. Like, these J's, I already know if I wait too much longer, stock X is going to them reseller prices is going to be crazy. So I'm trying to buy now. But if you really think about it and say, hey, if I put this money somewhere else, how about I create a business? Right. And I see a lot of people doing it with the shoes now. Like, we all like the J's and stuff, but then now people are flipping the game that says, okay, everybody wants J's. I'm going to buy the shoes at retail price. Then I'm going to resell them for a little bit more, make my profit back. Then I'm going to keep on flipping and buying. And then now I have a reseller business. So I love how, a lot of people don't like the reseller prices because I know they be taxing sometimes. But it's definitely great to see people's entrepreneurial mindset running.
Exactly.
Right? Even in the simplest things we think, like tennis shoes, right? Everybody loves J's. Now people are making a business out of it, right? People make a business out of anything, and that's the great thing to see.
Yes, sir. It all starts with a plan. In this day and age, a lot of people at our generation is really making it happen for real though.
Yeah.
Like we making it happen. Like, man, that's one thing I can say about our generation. They can say all the things they want to say about us, but at the end of the day, we get to it.
Oh yeah, we making moves. We making
exactly all types of things, man. Just doing it the right way, and that brings me to another point. Like, there's more than one way to get some money.
Yeah.
And for a lot of the guys, coming up, that's all we see is the things that we see that rappers are promoting or things that are promoting on TV, and what society paints the picture like. Man, I got to do this to get this. I got to sit here and then, I'm trying to get the Ferrari. I'm trying to be like Lil Baby. I'm trying to be like such and such, Woody Woo type, this, that, and the third, young boy, or things around that sort. But really, man, just be yourself.
Definitely.
It's important to be yourself because that's the only thing you really have, and at the end of the day, just being able to be yourself and understand thyself. And
that's why my business, that's why I don't know if my finger can get it, but my business, y'all see, it's called Me. That's the reason of that, right?
Yeah, how can I find
me? Because a lot of times people talk about, your life is about a team, it's a team effort. You got to have multiple people. And that is totally true. The we movement, everybody in a collective team, that's how we're going to get things done. I truly believe that. That is amazing. But if you don't have yourself figured out, how can I give myself to my maximum value to my team? A lot of times that, especially in sports, I use sports as a great analogy. My coaches always says, well, you got to make sure you do your 1-11, right? There's 11 people on the football team, 1-11, right? You got to make sure you do your job so the team succeeds. And
Everybody
so that's why I emphasize the importance of finding your me, making sure yourself is right so you can be a valuable asset to the team, which is society, to the team as a whole. Because if you don't understand yourself, if you don't focus on yourself, if you don't build and develop the things that are within yourself or what your purpose is, then are you really valuable? Are you an asset or are you a liability at the end of the day?
And that goes to say, man, and younger guys, you can ask, you bound to go up to somebody nowadays or go up to a teenager or whatever, and hey, man, you know the difference between a liability and an asset?
Yeah.
They're gonna look at you like you're crazy, and that's the thing, man. I want to learning these things early, getting the understanding of all this type of stuff early is going to put you so far ahead in the future. It's going to make life more easy for you once you get of age. That's something that my dad does, stressed and poured into me. Just making sure I'm on my game, just making sure I stay on top of my stuff, handle business. Because at the end of the day, who's going to do it for you?
Definitely. Well, Trevor, I'm glad we had a great conversation at the end. We got away from the questions, and I'm glad we just had a great conversation going back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, Trevor, I want to say thank you for being on the Me Podcast. Thank you for bringing your knowledge, everything that you bring to the table. Thank you for bringing it to the Me Podcast so viewers can understand everything that you want to do in this world and everything that you will continue to do, right? I'm glad and I'm thankful for Public Square. I would definitely put all your social medias and all those links in the description box below so everyone can contact you and they can start working with you so you can work with young men. So Trevor, once again, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you for having me, man. Yeah, man, you can follow us on Facebook at We Are Public Square, and you can follow us on IG at publicsquare._. Again, Facebook, We Are Public Square, and then Instagram, publicsquare._.
That's great, guys. Well, you heard the man of the owner and the creator of Public Square. So, guys, keep your eyes on Public Square and the great work that they will continue to do. And if you have any connections or resources that will be of aid to Trevor Elliott, please contact him through his social medias that I will be listing down below. So you all can connect, and Public Square can be big in this community. So, like always, have a me day, stay motivated, and stay empowered.